Hello and welcome to my new series where I talk about my top 10 favorite albums from a specific year. In this first episode, I will be focusing on the year 1967. I think this is a good year to start, as it was towards the beginning of the more album-oriented music scene. Also, the beginnings of prog rock started this year, which, if you have seen any of my other prior videos, you know is one of my favorite genres of music. Before I get any angry comments, of course, there are great albums that came out prior to 1967. There's no denying that. Please keep in mind, I'm not ranking these albums, just listing them in alphabetical order by band or artist. Let me know what you think and what albums you feel should have been on here that I missed. I wasn't alive during this period in time, so I am always eager to check out new old music. So without further ado, let's get things started. There's no denying that this was a landmark album for the Beatles and rock music in general. Personally, I love the variety of genres that are peppered, pun intended, throughout the album. This is very much an album-oriented work and not just a collection of songs. There isn't a weak moment and can and should be listened to in its entirety. Some say it was the first concept album. However, other than a couple of songs and the reprise of the title track, there really is no clear theme or concept. The lyrics were printed in full on the back cover, the first time this had been done on a rock LP. With this album, Cream moved away from their blues roots somewhat and into a more hard rock, psychedelic sound. That being said, they didn't abandon the blues completely, as is evident on tracks such as Outside Woman Blues, Take It Back, and album opener Strange Brew. They were truly one of the earlier examples of a power trio, with each member of the group being extremely talented. Although this album contains more concise songs and less jamming and improvisation they were known for, it is still one of my favorites of theirs. The recording sessions for this album took 3.5 days to complete. There have been many solid debut albums over the years, however, The Doors' self-titled debut is one of the best in my opinion. Seriously, just about every song here is The Doors' classic. They came out of the gate with their signature unique sound consisting of elements of blues, rock, jazz, combined with Jim Morrison's poetic lyrics. The highlight for me is the 11-minute dramatic album closer aptly titled The End, which caps the album in a hauntingly beautiful fashion. To promote the album, Elektra Records purchased the first rock billboard in history. I can only imagine the reactions when people first heard Jimi Hendrix. They must have thought this dude came from another planet, since no one was really playing the guitar like him at that time. This is yet another fantastic debut album. It explodes with raw energy, with each song taking on a totally different personality, ranging from heavy rock, blues, psychedelic, and a couple of beautiful ballads. I know Jimmy's guitar usually takes center stage, naturally. However, it should be noted that Noel Redding and Mitch Mitchell were also amazing and contributed to their powerful sound as well. The trio recorded the basic track for The Wind Cries Mary in one take. Admittedly, I was a little late getting into the Kinks, however, I'm so happy I did, otherwise I would have missed out on gems like this album. It's not a bad track on the album, and what appeals to me, like many of these other albums, is the diversity of styles present here. Also, the songwriting is top-notch, featuring a lot of character studies and introspective lyrics. Ironically, this album sounds nothing like anything else from 1967. It never rocks out really hard, however the calm music better suits the songs they were writing at this time. Ray Davies performed Waterloo Sunset at the closing ceremony of the London 2012 Olympics. This has to be one of the earliest examples of a concept album, along with being an early example of what would become known as progressive rock. The concept explores the life of everyday man. This album is famous for combining their early prog rock sound with rich orchestrations. It was very unique, as not a lot of bands were using orchestras to this extent at the time. The result is a very satisfying album that still holds up beautifully today. Justin Hayward wrote and composed Nights in White Satin at age 19 while touring in Belgium, and titled the song after a girlfriend gave him a gift of satin bedsheets. The debut album of my all-time favorite band. This was Pink Floyd at their most psychedelic, under the strong influence of Syd Barrett, who was the band's creative leader at that time. It combines long-form experimental pieces with whimsical psychedelic pop songs. It's often hailed as a pivotal psychedelic work, and it's easy to see why. It would be a little bit before they would come out with an album as consistent as this due to losing Syd Barrett to mental illness not long after this album was released. The album title was derived from Chapter 7 of Kenneth Grahame's 1908 children's novel The Wind in the Willows, a favorite of Barrett's. Here, we have yet another strong debut album from one of the bands that is responsible for contributing to the sound that would soon be called prog rock. The music is very engaging, consisting of psychedelic rock, blues, and classical influences. Their unique sound consists of great organ work by Matthew Fisher, along with Robin Trower's tasteful, restrained guitar work. Everyone knows the song Whiter Shade of Pale, however, this album contains tracks that are, in my opinion, just as great, if not stronger. In regards to the track A Whiter Shade of Pale, Keith Reid got the title and starting point for the song at a party. He overheard someone at the party saying to a woman, "You've turned a whiter shade of pale," and the phrase just stuck in his mind. This is a very eclectic debut album from Traffic. It is a kaleidoscope of sounds containing British pop, psychedelic music, blues rock jamming, some Indian influences, and dancehall styles reminiscent of Sgt. Pepper. It's a very original album to say the least. It can be a mixed bag at times, with not all tracks being stellar. The track, Dear Mr. Fantasy, is the standout for sure. However, there are many other tracks as well that make this album well worth checking out. During the recording of the track, Dear Mr. Fantasy, producer Jimmy Miller was so excited by what he heard that he jumped into the room playing maracas, eagerly driving the band on. It's the only instrumental credit he has on the album. This is an excellent Who album, which I feel may get overshadowed by their more popular albums, however, can be argued as one of their best. It is another example of an early concept album which contains a group of unrelated songs grouped together with fake radio ads in between the tracks. Regardless of the concept, it's a terrific set of songs balancing melodic mod pop with powerful instrumentation. I dare say I slightly prefer this over Tommy. The album's release was reportedly followed by lawsuits due to the mention of real-world commercial products in the faux commercials and on the album covers, and by the makers of the real jingles, who claimed the Who used them without permission. So there you have it. 1967 was a great year for music. It was hard to pick only 10 albums. Comment what you think and what albums you would have included that I did not. Also, let me know if you like this Top 10 Albums by Year series and would like to see more like it. As always, thank you very much for watching.